So, I've noticed that because I've been working on other projects like Toy Warfare 2, the so-called hype, if you want to call it that, has shrunken down just a little bit. But do not fear, because now that I've finished Toy Warfare 2, I can now move back to the series that I have put on pause because of a lack of motivation. But I know you guys think that's impossible because the series is so good, right? Right guys? But not will I only be getting back into the series and continuing animating for episode 3, but I will also be hosting the TTP Universe Stop Motion Contest 2.0. This time around, to make it a little different, I'll be calling the contest the Battle of the Brickfilms. I decided to call it this as the name suits the reoccurring name theme in all my projects in the universe, so you know. But also because I've decided that I'm going to make this a yearly type thing, so every year a new contest for the TTP universe will come out if all goes to plan. So this contest will be known as the Battle of the Brickfilms 2022. So for this contest, anyone can enter who has figured out how to install the stop motion app and press the upload button on YouTube. So sadly no one over 60, but possibly 3-year-olds, who even knows these days. So if you're interested in participating in this contest, then let me tell you the important information and all the other things you need to know, like some lore and the prizes. So let's begin. So let's start with the rules and some important information. So this contest is created for the TTP universe. So every entry made must be created for this universe. In the title or description of your entry, you must include hashtag TBOTB2022, all in capitals, which stands for the Battle of the Brickfilms 2022. Now, unlike the last contest, this one will be professionally executed, hopefully, and will include categories. These categories will be judged out of 10 for your entries. These categories include animation, lighting, music and sound, story, and set design. This time I won't be judging on my own, I will be accompanied by 3 other judges, Chewy Carrot, Fina, and Jim Jam Films. If you want to see everything already in the universe, there's a playlist in the description. Apart from that obvious rule and that important information, there are no other rules. So don't worry too much about really anything when creating your entry, but I will say if you're not familiar with the first contest, then you should know not every entry will end up being canon. So basically, you create something that you think would be canon worthy, and at the end of the contest I'll judge all of them and decide which ones are canon and which ones are not. All the canon entries will be put in the TTP Universe playlist on the channel. I would also prefer entries more in a serious tone, as that's the vibe of the Battle for Survival series and the universe in general. So I would suggest that if you want your entry to be canon. Now let's talk about some of the lore details so people aren't confused. First up is Star Wars. What about Star Wars, you might ask? Well, it doesn't exist in the universe. You might ask why I'm such a cruel, horrible person for taking away Star Wars from a universe with absolutely no context behind it. Well, actually, I do have a few points. When I made the universe, it was made as a bit of fun, and that's why you saw stormtroopers, clones, aliens, blasters, and more. But as I added more to it, like the BFS series, Battle for Survival, I wanted to make it a proper universe and not some big joke. So the lore behind it is that the helmets you see on everyone are for their own protection because of pollution in the overpopulated world. That is why my character wears a full face covered helmet, plus heaps of others. Then the aliens are just some people in costumes, so there aren't any aliens, creatures or anything like that, just some peeps in costumes. There are robots though. Then the blasters are just a type of gun, a more expensive upgrade from the normal bullet firing weapons. Plus, actually thinking of it, it's not just Star Wars that shouldn't exist, because there's similar things for many other universes too. But anyway, there's some plot holes covered. Hopefully that may help with your entry. Some more stuff to go over is the timeline. It's up to you for what time you make your entry for, if it's around the Battle of the Animators or around the Outbreak or during the Battle for Survival series. During the Battle of the Animators is a time where the population is at a peak, and pollution is quite serious. I suggest watching the Battle of the Animators re-release if you plan to make your entry then. It covers what the world looks like then. Then around the Outbreak is when obviously the Outbreak happened, pretty straightforward there. Lastly, around the series is when the zombies have been around for roughly 1 year. The population has obviously dropped very much. I suggest watching the 2 episodes of the series so far to understand that time better. I will say though, most entries last time decided to not include the black clay for the zombies' eyes. Now that's fine, as early on when the outbreak happened, there were just regular zombies. But as the virus continued to live on, that's how, they got the black clay eyes. Now let's move on. So I don't suggest including things like my safe zone in your entry, as it's very hard to make it look identical, obviously. But a few entries last time decided to include me in them, which was pretty cool. But I will say, I can be a little picky with my appearance. So I'll give you some tips for those of you who may be planning to have me in there. My appearance in the Battle of the Animators is straightforward. You just need the pieces. When the outbreak happened, and the first couple months that followed, I had the same appearance. But during the series and a few months before that, I had the vest and the coloured helmet you see in the series. If you plan to have me in your entry during the time of, the series, you may need to risk a clone helmet. The vest is passable if you don't have that, but the helmet is a big thing. But this is all if you're wanting to include me. So now with all that info out of the way, let's move on to the prizes. So there will be 3 honourable mentions and 3rd, 2nd and 1st. All 3 honourable mentions will receive a shout out in the results video. 3rd place, you'll receive your name mentioned as a winner in the credits of episode 3, a shout out on the Discord server, a shout out on a YouTube post, and a cameo of your signature figure or a character of your choice in the series if you're not already part of it. 2nd place, you'll receive your name mentioned as a winner in the credits of episode 3, a shout out on the Discord server, a shout out on a YouTube post, and finally a role as your signature figure or character of your choice with voice lines in the series if you're a small role or not part of it, plus 3 subscribers if that helps at all. And finally, 1st place, you'll receive your name mentioned as a winner in the credits of episode 3, a shout out on the Discord server, a shout out on a YouTube post, plus 3 subscribers, and exclusive 1st place role on the Discord server to give you some bling, a role as your signature figure or character of your choice with voice lines in the series if you're a small role or not in it, and finally, on top of all of those goodies, you'll be sent a custom White Mask Corporation infantry soldier consisting of parts from LEGO and a professional custom website. This torso will be plain white as it will have my signature signed on it, and this figure will also come with a stand that has a custom printed text saying TBOTB 2022, which stands for the Battle of the Brickfilms 2022. These items were purchased for this contest and added up, it was worth $38.24 NZD. And if the entries are approved by me as canon, then they'll be added to the TTP Universe playlist to make it, seem professional and proper. And this includes every entry, not just the winners, by the way. So the last important detail is the deadline. For this contest, I'll give it a full month this time around, giving people a little more time. You'll have exactly 4 weeks, which means the deadline is the 3rd of September. I'll be happy to further extend this if there's a few people still finishing their entries. Now I believe I've said everything I wanted to say, so for those who are making entries, I wish you the best of luck. If you want to learn more or want to ask some questions, I'm available here on YouTube or on Discord, link in the description. Enjoy animating.